What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we are going to talk about the NBA playoff round one, game four matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. This game will be played at 7:30 p.m. Monday, East Coast time. Line did open up at over under 203.5, Miami plus 10. It has since stayed the same on over and under. It's 203.5 still, but Miami is now plus 10.5. All right, so let's get into this game. What's been going on in this series, guys? All right, so in the last meeting, Boston won 104 to 80. 104 to 84. They won by 20 points. Boston Celtics focused on playing stingy defense against the Miami Heat to swing the Eastern Conference Eastern Conference first round playoffs series in their favor in the last time they met. Now, on Monday, Boston looks to keep the same mentality as they meet up again in Miami. And the top seeded team, Celtics, do own this series right now, 2-1 in the playoffs. Now, Jason Tatum did come out and state that, and I quote, "Everybody knows how talented we are. Can we be tougher, harder playing team?" When you combine that with our talent level, I think it's going to be hard to beat us. But can we start off every game essentially punching first and not reacting? That's the test for us that we had to get up for every single game, man. Says Jason Tatum. Now, the Celtics won the series opener 114 to 94 in Boston, led by 23 from Jason Tatum and 20 from Derek White. Now, the Heat even up the series 1-1 with a 111 to 101 victory, thanks to a large part 53.5% shooting from beyond the arc, which is like unheard of, you guys. Tyler Hero finished with 24 points and made half a dozen three-pointers. Caleb Martin scored 21 points and made 5 three-pointers. Like, if that ain't Heat culture, I don't know what is, man. Then came game three. Celtics locked down the defense and won 104 to 84 in Miami. Now, Hero said that he and his teammates believe they can find their footing on offense. Honestly, I believe, right now, I think that three-point shots are still there. I have to do a better job of creating and making the right decisions when I get into the paint. The same with Bam, all right? And just to continue to make the right play at the right time, like I've said through this whole series. Now, guys just have to shoot the ball. They're open, and we've just got to let it ride and let it go, man. And, of course, Caleb Martin agreed. He said that he would aim to be more aggressive in Game 4. Now, I think there's some times when I passed up shots, scoring 5 and 37 plus minutes in game 3, I felt like I was trying to get the ball moving a little bit more and being a little bit less aggressive and letting it go. So that's on me. I can't be as passive. I've got to let the ball go. Now, Tatum is averaging 24.3 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 6.3 assists in the series' first 3 games, led by the Celtics. Now, Jaylen Brown ranks second with 24 points to go along with 8 rebounds and 2.3 assists in each contest. And White, he's going to give you 16.3 a game. Now, Miami's led by Adebayo with 21.7 points per game and 8.3 rebounds per game to start the playoffs. Heroes averaging 16.7 points and 6.7 assists. And Jaime, the rookie, he getting you 14. So, you can't be mad at that. All right? Now, I tell you all these stats so you guys can understand if you want to play player props and things like that now, because you got to know what they've been doing in the last 3 games. The Heat still remain without key players: Jimmy Butler, right knee, Terry Rozier, the neck, of course, Josh Richardson, and DeLon Wright, who still missed game 3 for personal reasons and is expected to be back and available to play. Now, Brown said he and his teammates cannot take the Heat lightly despite their injuries. Respecting those guys' capability, they are NBA players and they can make shots on any given night. So treating them accordingly, closing out, just making them uncomfortable. That's exactly what you got to do when you're playing against a team with a culture like the Miami Heat. So like I said, the injury report is empty for Boston, but of course I already got the previous mentioned names for the Miami Heat. All right, and when you're looking at how these two teams have been playing in the last 10 times that they've actually matched up, Boston runs it 8-2 straight up. It's even against the spread 5-5. So that's why you got to kind of understand that this is a live dog right here. And then you got 3 over and 7 to the under in the last 10 games that these two teams have matched up against each other. But when you look at these teams as how they met any team in the last 10 games, Boston is on a 7-3. They straight up. And so they've been good, but they're 4-4-2 against the spread. So they really wasn't covering before the end of the season going into the playoffs, and they still not covering right now, because right now they are 2-1 against Miami against the spread in the last 3. And then you look in the last 10 games, they're 6 to the over, 4 to the under. So they really wasn't playing too much defense coming into the playoffs. However, as this series has progressed, it is 2 to the under and 1 to the over total. Now, when you look at Miami in their last 10, they came in 5-5. So they really wasn't like coming in strong into the playoffs. They literally lost to the Chicago Bulls as their last game of the season, or I'm sorry, not Chicago Bulls. They lost to Philly the game before the last by 1 point, and then they beat Chicago, and they beat the dog breaks off of them, but they beat Chicago, and the teams they were playing before that was like Toronto. They lost to Dallas. They lost to Indiana. Notice the fact I keep mentioning they're losing to playoff teams, but against those playoff teams, they did cover against Indiana. They did lose at ATS against Dallas. And they did cover against Philly. All this prior to the playoffs. And, of course, Chicago, who was a playing team. So these are the things that are very important, because you got to understand how teams looking when they're actually getting out there on the court and coming out to play, man. So let's go ahead and let's look at this next thing, man. Let's look at how this team has been playing situationally. All right, so when you're talking about the Miami Heat being home underdogs in this situation, straight up, that 0-11. They have not won one game all season long as a home underdog, guys. Understand that, okay? And as an away favorite, Boston's 27-12 straight up. Now, when you look against the spread, Miami as a home underdog is 1-10. 1-10, guys. This does not bode well for the Miami Heat, especially with it as an away favorite. You just got 19-17-3 coming in. Boston, they don't play the radio with this type of stuff. It's just not a situation that bodes favorably for Miami. And then when you look right now, okay, as over under, okay, as a home underdog, it's 4 to the over, 7 to the under, guys. All right, in those 10 games where they were the home underdog, whereas away favorite, you got Boston, they 20-19, 20 to the over, 19 to the under. So what does that tell me? That tells me that Boston's going to push the limit to possibly get to their team total over, while still holding Miami to the under, because Miami at home as an underdog, they sorry, dog. I'm sorry. I'm a Florida boy. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm in Tampa, Florida right now, and I'm going to tell you straight up. Now, the boys can't rock like that, man. Now, Miami, they ain't got it. They ain't got it. Okay, but let's get into some more stats. Now, in the last 3 games, these two teams, Miami Heat, are averaging 96.3 points per game. So they ain't even averaging 100 points a game, whereas Boston is averaging 106.3 points per game. Now, on the season, on the road, Boston averages 117 points per game, gives up 109.9. And at home, Miami averages 111.5 points per game, giving up 109.6. So you can see the drastic difference that has occurred since the playoffs. You literally have seen Miami score, considerably less. Because on the season, them boys, them boys is averaging, and just so I can give you the full picture, guys, all right? On the season, Miami Heat, okay, is averaging a total of 109.6 points per game. Now, remember, when I just told you about what they've been averaging at home on the season, they average 111 and give up 109. But when you look overall, Miami Heat, and over the season, just going back to that, they give up 108.1. So they only win by 1 point per average. By average on the season. And this is the number 2 Boston offense going against the number 3 defense in Miami, guys. Where is that Miami defense showing up at when they're at home? That's my question. All right. When they're at home, it just seems like Miami is not a team that's going to show up for you. They're not going to come out here and they're not going to do what needs to do. Now, could that be to do with the fans? Could that not showing up till like halfway through the game? Or could that do with the fact that that's just the way it is with the team that Spoelstra's working with right now. And I hate to fade Spoelstra in any games that he's coming off a double-digit loss just because of the fact that he's going to come out and he's going to have the boys ready to play. All right? He is definitely. But at the end of the day, the Celtics have lost each of their last 6 Eastern Conference first-round road games against Southeastern Division opponents following a win. The Celtics have failed to cover the spread in 5 of their last 6 games following a win. And 7 of the Celtics' last 8 night games against Southeastern Division opponents have gone over the total points line. Whereas with Miami, the Heat have won each of their last 9 games following a loss. The Heat have covered the spread in each of their last 9 games following a loss. And each of the Heat's last 6 games as home underdogs have gone under the total points line. So I say all that to say this. Remember, earlier, your man Jason Tatum did make a rather poignant statement about where they are as a team and how they've been coming out and how they've been punching and whether or not they fighting. This, that, and the third from the very beginning. Well, that's why they haven't been able to win back-to-back games like that. And that's why Miami has an opportunity, regardless of what you're looking at right now with the numbers I just gave you. So, what am I playing in this game, guys? I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, the over-under for Miami is set at team total 97.5. They're only averaging 96.3. I could possibly play the team total under 97.5, despite how desperate they are. But I might lean that. I'm not sure on that one yet. I'm definitely thinking that Boston can get over the 105.5 as they are averaging 106.3. Remember, in the last games that they did play in this series, when you're looking at these two teams, okay, you're looking at a Boston team that scored 104, 101, and 114. And a Heat team that scored 84, 111, and 94. So they have the opportunity and ability to actually come out and put up them points. They just don't usually do it at home. That's why my lean would be Boston first half. I believe you can get Boston first half at, let's look real quick. Boston first half spread, Boston -5.5. I would think that would definitely possibly be a good lean. I also like the team total points for Boston. I think they can get to that 105. And I don't think Miami can handle this game. I think Boston's good, giving up the 9.5, 10 points, 10.5 points, whatever you're looking at it right now. That would be my lean in this game. Now, do I think that the Heat have an opportunity and can actually overcome the numbers and do what needs to be done? Yes. But at the end of the day, we are talking about statistics and numbers. Math usually tells you what's going on, man. I'm not sure if I'm going to put in a play on this game right now. Okay? I have put in a play, show y'all the plays earlier on what my successes were and failures were throughout this series. They've been pretty successful. But this game right here is just a tricky game for me. When I look at, and I'll just look at one more thing for you guys real quick. All right? Just so I can try to attempt to see if I can find anything profitable for you in an angle real quick, man. So when we're looking at the angles for these teams over the last 7 days, we'll say, okay, what is a positive angle that could possibly help the Heat? The Heat, home underdogs coming off a loss, are 3-1. All right, in the last 7 days, they cover 75% of the time, and then the Heat are in that position. So, I mean, take it for what you want. Underdogs coming off a loss 61% of the time. They covered 11-7 in the last 7 days. So once again, though, this is the playoffs. Then you go home underdogs. Once again, the Heat. It looks like they cover 60% of the time. Not them, but they're 3-2 overall in the last 7 days. So home underdogs coming off a loss are 3-1. Home underdogs coming off a loss Our underdogs coming off a loss are 11-7, and home underdogs in the last 7 days are 3-2, guys. So, and home underdogs, yeah, after not playing, are 3-2. So take that how you will. Please bet responsibly. I hope this information has helped you. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.